blessed day.
Great is our Lord and great is His strength. Praise ye the Lord, for the Lord is good.
Wisdom.
The readings from the Acts of the Holy Apostles.
Wisdom, let us attend.
In those days, many signs and wonders were done among the people by the hands of the apostles. And they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch. None of the rest dared to join them, but the people magnified them. And more than ever believers were added to the Lord. Multitudes both of men and women, so that they even carried out the sick into the streets, and laid them on beds and pallets, that as Peter came by, at least a shadow might fall on some of them. The people also gathered from the cities around Jerusalem, bringing the sick and those afflicted with unclean spirits, and they were all healed. But the chief priests rose up, and all who were with him, that is the sect of the Sadducees, and filled with jealousy, they laid their hands on the apostles, and put them in a common prison. But at night an angel of the Lord opened the prison doors, and brought them out, and said, Go and stand in the temple, and speak to the people all the works of this life.
Peace be to thee that clearly does.
Alleluia, alleluia. Wisdom attend, let us hear the holy gospel. Peace be to all.
Thy spirit.
The reading is from the holy gospel according to St. John.
Glory to thee, O Lord, glory to thee.
Let us attend. On the evening of that day, the first day of the week, the doors being shut where the disciples were for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood among them and said to them, Peace be to you. When he had said this, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. And Jesus said to them again, Peace be to you. As the Father has sent me, even so I send you. And when he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven. And if you retain the sins of any, they are retained. Now Thomas, one of the 12, called the twin, was not with them when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, We have seen the Lord. But he said to them, Unless I see in his hands the prints of the nails, and place my fingers in the marks of the nails, and place my hand in his side, I will not believe. 8 days later, his disciples were again in the house, and Thomas was with them. The doors were shut, but Jesus came and stood among them and said, Peace be to you. Then he said to Thomas, Put your finger here and see my hands, and put out your hand and place it in my side. Do not be faithless, but believing. Thomas answered him, My Lord and my God. Jesus said to him, Thomas, you have believed because you have seen me. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. and that believing you may have life in his name.